all weekend. The waves have crashed and teams have bashed. Welcome back to Boost on the Beach 24. I am DJ TJ, and with me, of course, is the wonderful Bearlight.
Hey, let's get this going. It all comes down to this. It's the moment we've been waiting for, with $1,500 for first place on the line and a chance to say that you're Boost on the Beach champion of 2024. It doesn't get much better than this.
It really does not. This is the most competitive Boost on the Beach and arguably one of the biggest collegiate tournaments that will happen in all of 2024. And I'm honored that we get to end this story with y'all. But of course, we can't do that without looking at the first chapter. Let's look at the bracket real quick, Bear.
Take a peek at this because it was a road to get here, I will tell you what. Of course, Harrisburg, a clean sweep all the way through, baby. Georgia State said no problem. Even Maryville, the team that we just saw dominate the third place match, 3-0. They're locked in, ready to go. In West Virginia, a very similar story to some degree. They were very strong in this bracket.
And of course, other than that, we had 12 teams enter this event with aspirations to win that $3,000 first place prize, but now only one team can win it out of the two that we have left. And of all the people we could have gotten for this event right here, I'm thrilled with these two teams.
Let's take a look at this roster for Harrisburg and see them locked and loaded here. Polar has been effective. Next as well, their goal scoring opportunities, all because of T. Carell, which you see on your bottom left. They are locked in, ready to go. They have been impactful since the get-go.
You could call Harrisburg bilingual, and that's not because of the way their team is distributed, but that's because they play the best offense and defense here on the pitch.
Yeah, you get that whenever you are from that EU region, right? They have been absolutely stellar. Of course, next, coming from the freestyling world, which is not well, it's competitive in its own right, but it's not the same as competitive Rocket League. Let me tell you, he's finding a groove with competitive Rocket League here at the collegiate level.
And next, only a freshman, of course, with Pulse and also coming from overseas as well. But the gel that holds this roster together is T. Carell. He's the only non-freshman, but he's only a sophomore, but he has plenty of years of RLCS experience, and he's hoping to use that for their team.
I mean, I'm talking about you. He plays coming out of nowhere. This guy is absolutely dynamic in all the right times, and I'm excited to see what he can contribute here, whether it be passes or that goal scoring that we know he's capable of. This Harrisburg team hasn't dropped a series. In fact, they've only dropped one game the entirety of this weekend, and that was to West Virginia, which we got to see in that third place match.
But of course, you can't have the Harrisburg Storm without Polar. He has the vibes. He's such a fun guy, and he really helps bring this team together in their darkest moments, coming all the way over from Britain.
Absolutely. Long trip over the pond. Now he's settled in into Harrisburg's one of their strikers that just makes the difference in every situation. Whether it's a quick read on the defensive side, whether it's a pass gathered and sent the other way, Polar is the one to get it done here, TJ. That team locked in, ready to go. Of course, they've got some keen competition across the way.
And funny enough, we've obviously seen these players come from across the pond, but looking literally arm's distance away as their opponents in West Virginia.
Oh my goodness, the way that we saw Don take over games, you love to see it as an 18-year-old here at the collegiate level coming in, and that was all just from the love from Angel coming in at the West Virginia University and being able to guide his way here too. All three of these players get involved. Their goal scoring so balanced, their assists as well. They love sharing the ball. It's very difficult to read the play when you've got three dynamic players like this at West Virginia.
And three dynamic players, but the leader and the one with the most experience and also the most shots in this event is Angel. He is dangerous, and we talk so much about Lunar leading in goals, but now with him out, this is our new target.
Well, Tool, you're seeing in front of us as well. I mean, this guy has had the most Rocket League Championship Series experience, dating all the way back to 2019 when he played with Coach Evil, the assistant coach for West Virginia. Of course, you know, when you have that connection for multiple years, and then you find pieces along the way that make sense, that's why we've seen such a dynamic West Virginia team. But like you said, it's Angel who's really guided the way for this team overall. Look at the determination in his face as he comes in. He loves to have a great time, number one, and number two, he likes to make big moments like this.
And well, of course you can smile while you're playing, but that smile will be even wider with $3,000 to you and your teammates, especially splitting three ways. That's probably what he's thinking about.
Oh, 100%. I mean, same with Daunt, right? You're 18 years old, you come in like we mentioned, and having this opportunity here, you can tell, you know, along the way there's been little moments where maybe he was doing a little bit too much, but when he's calm at the end of the day, when Angel talked him down, when Coach Josh as well, Josh S. from this West Virginia team was able to get him calmed down and locked in, like I said, Daunt is a dynamic player for this West Virginia roster.
He is also my X factor of this team. Normally, he doesn't get as many opportunities with Angel and Tool's experience, but he is absolutely disgusting on the ball. But there's only so much more story we can add to things. It all must come to a halt here in our best of 7 grand finals.
All right, Harrisburg lighting it up on a regular basis. Let's put 5 minutes on the clock. In this scenario, a best of 7. Hopefully we go to the distance we want to see it here at Boost on the Beach in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Game 1 of the championship underway.
And of course, things start with a demo. That is the tale of the tape of the current Rocket League meta. All of the teams so incredibly good at finding the space, and through all those bumps and demos, it gets harder and harder. But for Daunt, it's too easy. It takes 14 seconds to kick off our grand.
That's how you started off against a team that hasn't dropped very many games at all. You make a statement piece right off the bat, and Daunt was able to find that little bit of daylight on the left side of the net to give West Virginia the early lead.
And it's a very early lead. This isn't just your average first minute goal. It's less than 30 seconds, less than 15 even. And so West Virginia, a team that struggled to find momentum yesterday and even in parts of today, but now they look as strong as ever.
Next tries to find a response. A pinch off the back wall of West Virginia will send it all the way across the Polar. Played it high. I think he's looking for T-Corral, but he was all the way across the pitch anyways. So that'll force them backwards into their own ends in a pinch to get out to middle, but Tool will direct it in. He's got a teammate as well. Angel back to Daunt. Great comms. Going for the double. Had a touch, but just off the mark.
Double is just a little strong, and Harrisburg definitely thanking their lucky stars for that one. Now, ball goes flying across. Next to T-Corral to backboard, but of course, there's a player there. It's high-level Rocket League. You got to be a little more creative.
Daunt's given all sorts of room, was trying to work it here as Angel will be beat to it. And now next, look how quickly T-Corral was up to the ceiling trying to establish a play of their own in the solo sense. But now it's West Virginia. Double touch is good. Angel takes to the sky as wings come in use, and a 2-0 lead for West Virginia.
And Angel takes wings and flies, but this shot falls down from heaven, dead center, 2-0.
It's storming down on Harrisburg. But again, it's very early in this best of 7 series to get too excited about it. The West Virginia is an ideal situation as far as the start goes. And they'll look to continue on it. If you can get a statement piece going here in this game number 1, you gotta close out this win. One thing that we noticed, in fact, this was the first series that we saw at Boost on the Beach, which is crazy that it's the one that's going to cap us off as well, the Alpha and Omega, and it's played where it was very one-sided in the match, or in the games within the match that we saw too.
Yeah, and Harrisburg definitely, without any denial, they were the team that was ready to go, but now both teams have equal playing grounds. Both have 2 full days of experience against all the other high-level teams here at Boost on the Beach, and so far, West Virginia turning the tides.
Right now, T-Corral going to turn it right back at him. You get the flip reset, at least in this moment, and tries to play it back down, but Angel was waiting for it. Now Polar taps down. He's got next, but he also has Angel up on it too, and Daunt will clear the zone here. And he's got it past the Tool as well, so quickly converted into an offensive chance. All of a sudden, you blink, it's 3-0 West Virginia.
West Virginia with 3 straight, completely unanswered, and Harrisburg just all over the place right now.
Yeah, they need to get re-coordinated. Seems like they just have lost a bit of a stride here, as we saw early. But West Virginia, although it's 3-0 right now, Harrisburg, we know how quickly they can strike. Next, going to try to jumpstart that, but Tool's already waiting for it here in the corner, and we'll try to drop it down to Daunt, but got it way too far ahead of him. That allowed T-Corral the chance to chip at it, but West Virginia was wise to it.
And Harrisburg had a golden opportunity off of T-Corral's redirect, but that will not land off a great West Virginia save. And now they had an open net that they unfortunately have to give up. And now Harrisburg trying to use that miss to their advantage, going corner, but that's a massive touch down to Tool, who unfortunately misses, and it's going to be a save for Polar.
There was a decent opportunity there. Angel did put it out in front of him, but Tool did have the opportunity in order to get back to it, but just missed. Now it's a fight over Boost at midfield. T-Corral actually draws 2 members of Harrisburg, but no damage damage really done as Nex is able to just kind of catch it, flick it. And Don's going to rely on Tool to get across and get a couple of touches out.
And now finally we see Harrisburg starting to find their rhythm on defense, but they got to find it on offense. That's T-Corell from the ceiling. Great save, but it's still dangerous. It's going to be a 50 that doesn't land. Next fakes it, looks middle. It's a flip into one, and what great defensive stand from West Virginia.
Yeah, and you're up 3-0, but you never feel comfortable against Harrisburg. So yes, a great sequence here, and they'll try to continue on that. Next, looking for the back wall. It's shut down again. Their positioning has been stacked. And that's why West Virginia has been able to hold on to the shutout, but it's starting to bend a little bit. It's starting to mend as right now Harrisburg has been putting pressure on. That shot's not going to get the job done, though, and West Virginia holds on to this 3-0 lead for now.
And Harrisburg just continues to not find enough possession to really make something happen as Angel gets a flip reset there, but it's a double commit that leads to a Don shot. 2 for 2 for him.
How many times have we seen this? Don above the crossbar and then works in with a touch. Just leaves it out. Don from the right side. It was a pretty clean angle there, too, as a lot of people can hit that shot unless you're at the top level. Don can do it over and over again. And in fact, over again. 4-0 here for West Virginia. And Harrisburg hasn't had a solution at all.
And they haven't found the solution, but they do find a bump, and that was an open net. Once again, that is now 2 that Harrisburg haven't been able to find. But we still must remember that there's a minute left and plenty of Rocket League left.
Nex is going to try to, support that thought here. As Corell was a little bit late to it. It'll be Polar off this back wall. He's looking for Nex. Nex is already up for it as well, trying to get this corner read. Almost had it, but couldn't quite find it. And after that miss, you figure West Virginia's closed out this game number 1 here in this best of 7. As Don almost got the read. That'll hit crossbar. Angel to clean up. 5-0 now West Virginia. What a start from them.
That is now 3 major shot misses from Harrisburg, and they can't find it. But West Virginia, it took them an extra shot, but they will get their 5th fairly easily.
And oh man, if there's ever an ideal start for West Virginia, you found it. And you want one back here. I know it's not going to change anything when it comes to this game 1. Maybe will change the mentality coming in. It looks like Harrisburg's coming in cold here. They started to amp things up, and even when they did, West Virginia was able to find these saves, able to find angles that were just countering Harrisburg exactly the way they needed. And that was the ultimate reason why West Virginia was able to win this game 1 so dominantly.
Indeed, and they just simply are going to let this ball hit the ground. This is a reset for Harrisburg. It's a best of 7, which is good and bad. You still fall 1-0 in the series, but you are still very much in this series.
How quickly do you go to a timeout here? Because it was very one-sided. But we also saw that in the first series in the best of 3, because West Virginia was dominant here. There were no solutions for Harrisburg. Now, you get an automatic 60 seconds as the time's ticking down between lobbies. You just use that, and then hopefully, if things start to get away from you, is that when you use your timeout?
I mean, Harrisburg has yet to be pushed to a game 5, and so far that first game, I mean, now we at least will have to go to 5, so I don't think you rip the timeout card just yet. These are very experienced players, and it looks like there may be a few tech issues they're figuring out as well.
Gotcha. We'll check out on this tech issue here momentarily. In the meantime, we'll talk about the history of these 2 teams in this event specifically, as, like we mentioned, Harrisburg only dropping 1 game. It was to West Virginia, and it was exactly as one-sided as we saw in that game number 1. But, I mean, things are different now. The stakes are higher. The $1,500 on the line, TJ. It's got to change the mentality of these teams.
Well, and it's a brand new day, and that's the magic about Championship Sunday, is that you've made it here. You've done the hard part. Now, you just have to play 1 more series, 2 more series, and you may end up calling yourselves the Boost on the Beach champions.
Harrisburg, can they get that start? They weren't able to find anything, so a hot start would be needed here, as T-Corell was able to get past 1 off the kickoff. Moves from Harrisburg. And now Polar takes a shot, a laser. Oh, it's off the corner of the post. And you felt like they really wanted that one, needed that one. This one fall back down, though. Dangerous. Next shot taken. What is saved on? Oh, follow-up. Oh, it hung there, but it does eventually break through. And Harrisburg says finally on the board 1-0 here in game 2.
I mean, we kick things off with an incredible Harrisburg offensive attack. 3 shots go, and we keep seeing this theme. These defenses are impenetrable. So what are they going to do next? What is Harrisburg's next plan of attack?
Man, I mean, the way it was working, if that pressure, these demos, going to continue into this next sequence. Polar, just a bit of a slow play there, and Tool read it all the way. And in fact, he was able to beat another member of the defense. Trying to play forward here, but it's caught by Don. Look out, Tool tries to get that bump too. The flick will do it. West Virginia, just as quickly as Harrisburg got on the board, they've equalized.
And we mentioned this in the pre-show, Daunt, the X Factor, and it's a 1v1, and who would you rather have other than him as he successfully converts?
Don can take over games, the youngster. We say it all the time. It's the freshman coming in that can really be that difference maker. And Don's always been that 1v1 player as well. He's been dynamic in that playlist forever. Whether we talk about his streaming career, where he just, you queued up 1v1 after 1v1 after 1v1, that hard work always came through. And he's really determined to get into the 3v3 vibes. He said that in an interview prior to this event kicking off, and it's very evident that he can use those 1v1 skills in this 3v3 environment and absolutely thrive.
But also, those individual mechanics that all 6 of these players have are so great as well, as now West Virginia starting to show off that. Don, flip reset, backboard, gonna fake it for a teammate, but nobody's there.
Oh man, you expect to see Tool there because he has been all weekend long, but he was hanging back trying to get boost of his own. That's where the boost control of Harrisburg definitely comes in handy. Here as Angel try to leave it as a fake again. It did pull up Puller, but T. Corral will settle and move forward. Next was looking for that bump, but Tool did a good job to shake him off.
That's a massive job from Tool. A 2v1 against professionals is not your standard 2v1 in ranked, and an incredible job from him to keep West Virginia in it.
Next, a challenge here, but it's actually going to find its way out on the front side, and T. Corral was able to corral it. And this one will head over to Angel. His shot taken, recovery save there from Next. Nobody was back in Harrisburg, scrambling a little bit on the defensive side.
And now we'll see Harrisburg actually finally get some possession. That's T. Corral over 1, but his second touch is a little awkward. He's got the dive for it. Now we'll see Next very quickly up. Polar trying to do the same, and now Angel's got a chance. He will fake one and try and get the bump, but will not. It's going to leave an open, wide open air time for Don, but it's not going to be anything crazy.
Angel marching right back in, but the defense held off on the back wall. Not gonna watch this one come back to his car. Teammates called out that there was plenty of time for him to work with, so he did play that one patiently exactly how he needed to. And now the passing out of the zone, Angel ready to fire one, and T. Corral couldn't get to it, but it was a little bit high, and Harrisburg gets out unhurt.
Just barely missed, and now Harrisburg very quickly on the counter, but West Virginia will do a good job of just banging it out. But now, ball's a little awkward towards their net. Passing play not gonna land either. That's a backboard clear, though. That will give them a little bit of breathing room. But wait a minute, you can't hold your breath just yet, as shots still being exchanged. Ball going middle, a dunk from Next. It's an open net, only one player left, and it's a good touch from Angel.
The pace has been increased tenfold here, and it's really playing into the hands of Harrisburg, who knows how to play this quickly. I know it's even crowd right now, but Harrisburg wanted to set this tone, set this pace. West Virginia has really succeeded when we saw a little bit of this slower play here. And now you see Harrisburg just wading in the waters, ready to strike here. T. Corral launches in, shot taken, answered by Tool.
Tool avoids the demo even though he was standing in the middle of the net, and that's a massive save for them. Again, West Virginia, they win their 2v1s. T. Corral actually misses that, but Harrisburg still trying to get this offense built up.
Shot not necessary there, but you kind of wanted it for T. Corral because it would have really put West Virginia in a situation where they'd have to dive for it to use the majority of their boost that they had in their tank. But instead now it'll be back in their zone. Don will carry this one, trying to slow down the pace. You can tell he's trying to match that pace that West Virginia is comfortable with, the one that really made them successful in game 1.
And now that's a big demo, and Polar actually almost put out of position due to the interaction there in the midfield, but now he's still gonna try and chase this, but now Angel's gonna get there very quickly. It's an even 50, and Tool just being threatening. Nobody's pushing him. They fully respect Tool, even though he had absolutely no boost.
He was a man on a mission, and sometimes all you have to do is be there in order to make that difference. Next, we'll try to turn it right back in. Here's Polar. Try to use that ceiling, but T. Corral way behind it as it was the right place to be here. It just wasn't set up correctly. T. Corral, he's going to direct it to net. Polar's already up for this one, but Don with the recovery. Good call out for him to get across and make that save.
Again, West Virginia puts themselves in a 2v1 against them, but they still manage to win it. And for Harrisburg, you have to find one of them. Now, 10 seconds left. You do not want to be in overtime, especially given the stakes of this matchup. As now Angel going to rip it downfield and let Harrisburg decide what they want to do with it. Ball goes middle. Tool taps it up a little up to ground it. We have overtime in your grand final.
Wise choice. Just get a reset here. Harrisburg was striking, and it was difficult. Plus, you trust your kickoff voice. You saw it move forward for West Virginia. And you thought for maybe a second that they'd be able to end it in the first couple of seconds here in overtime. In fact, they're still striking. Angel on it, shot taken. What a read from Polar.
Polar off the sidewall. He does find that one. Now demos are exchanged. Now counterattack. That's next. Trying to use the backboard, but Tool will get a soft touch. Will also get bumped for it. Now will not get the read. Ball goes middle. T-Corral quickly up. It's going to bounce straight down. Is someone going to answer the call? Polar, shot on. Top side. Not going to find the back of the net.
Don was sitting there parked on the back wall here, knowing that the shot was going to be exposed there. Harrisburg always utilizing that back wall. Positioning was just a little bit stronger. And Angel fights this one off too. Allow Tool to jump with it. He's got room to work with. He'll look to pinch it off this corner. It is pinch. And Polar going to miss this one. Leaves the door open here. But who's up for West Virginia? Nobody. Daunt had to backtrack and just shadow defend its way to the corner to leave it for Angel.
These teams have so much respect for each other, but also so many nerves that they're not really pushing each other. And now you can have zero boost and just look menacing. But now this is an actual menacing attack, but not going to find the net either. Ball still center though. Polar going to try and find a pass over one. Right corner!
Oh!
Bang! Tie it up at one apiece.
Oh man, we've been talking about how Next was scoring goals, how Polar is scoring goals. It's T-Corral the hero in this one. Polar set him up, and it was a bullet. And even though Angel got the read, it was not enough to get across and try to save that howitzer. And Harrisburg University with the answer.
And it's in T-Corral's tag. He is an elite and then the great RLCS player, and that shot and pass, the perfect placement over one, then perfectly in the corner. That's a massive change of momentum.
No doubt about it. I mean, these three, they've been doing it all weekend long, digging deep, and in the clutchest of moments, you want your boys to be able to get together and be able to launch into it the way that they were able to in overtime. It was multiple shots coming from Harrisburg, and West Virginia was looking like they were holding on. They played great defense, right? Daunt was not where he needed to be defensively, but they never were able to really translate out. There was actually a few chances from West Virginia that were left on the table.
They played great defense and solid offense. I do think that Harrisburg had the advantage on the offensive end, and you got to play perfectly to stop the attacking side of Harrisburg, as that was absolutely surgical, and they also outshoot Harrisburg as well.
They certainly do. Well, things are even here, and rightfully so. You can tell in this skill level that we're even. Of course, in this best of 7, we're even. And the #1 team in Harrisburg looking to fight off the surge from West Virginia. As, you know, they had a strong performance in the group stage. West Virginia did, but you saw some vulnerability. But that has all gone away. When they made it to the finals, we crank up game #3 and see who can get the advantage. Except we got a bit of a tech pause here, so we will come back to us in the meantime. And now we get to discuss more, so good for us, you know?
Yeah. I will say, I'll correct myself from the point I made before. So Harrisburg did not outshoot West Virginia. The difference was about 5. So West Virginia with 5 more shots. Harrisburg only has 4, but it's still enough to get that win.
And, you know, you can't look back at it and be like, you know, there was an opportunity where Tool just killed it for overtime, where could have left it for a teammate to go up the wall and challenge that. I know you can play what it could have, should have, but at the end of the day, it was a decision that's made, and you trust yourself to win out in overtime, especially when you have clutch members on your team like you do for West Virginia. So this is just a matter of brushing it off the shoulders, because we know that they can come back, bounce back. We've seen it too many times.
And now we get another long tech pause, so kind of half a timeout. You wonder, what is West Virginia saying? Are they still confident in their ways? I mean, they played it almost perfectly, other than, of course, that incredible shot from Harrisburg. And I'm not sure if you really should change anything just yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to panic by any means. I mean, you dominated game #1, and here in game #2, very close, right, in overtime. It was so tense, though. And I do think when that pace started to crank up a little bit, it was Harrisburg that got more comfortable overall. Yes, West Virginia was taking more shots, but more grade A chances were coming from the Harrisburg side, and I think that was very notable. And if they continue to work in that fashion, I think Harrisburg gains an advantage here. Does West Virginia need to panic? No, but do they need to make adjustments? Absolutely.
Yeah, I would imagine that we won't see any timeouts come out until game 5, 6, well, or there is no game 7 timeout, obviously, but these teams are very confident in their ways, and they've won major tournaments, both these teams with incredible LAN experience and, of course, the money and prizing they've won along the way. And so they're not too worried about the stakes. It's just simply more about what are you doing every second, every minute. You have to hyper-analyze your own gameplay and really cut out the minute details.
100%. That's a lot easier when you have been in these situations, when you have been in high-stakes tournaments. Angel said it best in the interview I had with him prior to this entire event cranking up in the first place. You know, he told me that, oh, I've been around the block too many times. You know, it's no longer going to get to me. Maybe it did at first. Maybe the first couple of lands here. Maybe at the first couple of bigger tournaments in CRL when he was able to make RLCS for the first time a couple of years ago. But at this point in time, it allows you to focus on the details and be less about, hey, are my hands shaking coming into this big stake moment where, you know, $1,500 is what you're after.
Yeah, and $1,500, a massive gap between first and second. But the stats, there is not really a gap. I mean, so far it is dead even 1-1, and the stats seem to follow that. Every player having at least 7 shots other than West Virginia, so go ahead and chalk that stat away, but they make up for it in the saves and goals.
I mean, I'm telling you, the amount of back and forth that we've seen from this and the pace in which they get there is why you see so many shots both ways. And the goal count's still pretty low. I mean, Don's the only one that's reached that 3-goal mark overall. Next Jets to get on the board, which kind of surprises me. But overall, I mean, that end-to-end action is complete with just a perfect defensive rotation from both teams. Able to keep it out in the meantime. That's why the save count just as high.
And normally the ideal range that you want to be in as a shooter is about 30%. Not a single player in that range. So defense might win a championship here today.
And oh man, so shot count and shot percentage a little bit lower ends here for this series. We've seen Tool rank up to about 40% shooting in the NACE Premier League at one point in time. So he takes those grade A chances. Maybe it's time to feed Tool and find the right moment to strike. Easier said than done.
I will say, though, that this is not NACE. This is a LAN, and maybe there's some extra stat padding that's gone on in both leagues, but here there is no stat padding. You've got to fight for every living chance to even look at a shot, not even to get one. And so these teams know it's a mental battle. It's a best of 7. You know exactly what you're getting into. You know the stakes. You know the venue. And, of course, the viewers at home know exactly all the action that we're bringing you here.
And so when you focus in, when you dial in, you're in the communication channels here, and you're talking to your team, and you're just trying to make sure that everybody's ready to go, especially with the tech pause. At some point in time, yeah, it serves as a timeout, but you got to get right back into it and be like, especially when you've won the last game. Let's reproduce. Let's keep talking. Let's go through the details of what we saw last game. You want to keep that fresh in your mind, so that way you can hit the ground running whenever this ball eventually drops in the midcourt.
And this works as a free timeout, which is massive. And now it's probably been 4 or 5 minutes since we originally took a break. And so this isn't your standard timeout. This is now a lengthened timeout. But you can see the guys having fun. Again, Polar always bringing the smiles to this Harrisburg roster. But you look at West Virginia, dialed in.
Oh, man, they always are. I mean, you can talk to Angel and just hear the inflection of his voice. We heard it in an interview, even still, just a couple of, I think it was last series, actually. After that win, Angel is just like so calm, cool, collected. And he chooses his words wisely as well. And when we talk about communicating during the game, it really takes that efficient communication. And if anybody has that, it has got to be Angel. He has a way with words, man.
I mean, he has a way with words, both in the public eye, but also the private eye. I mean, he keeps this team grounded, and he always is the gel. I mean, he's similar to T-Corell, and both of them have similar experiences, both in the professional league and in CRL. Both are younger players, I believe. I'm not sure what Angel's year is, but nonetheless, incredible achievements to even make it to this point.
No doubt about it. And here, you know, Tool's the same age as Angel at 21 years old, so you've had a little bit of experience overall, but, you know, even still, you rely on your younger players almost to bring in the mechanics, to bring the skills, but the way that Angel plays, I don't know if that's accurate, because even he's still got it, man. He's still making RLCS on a regular basis with Tool, teammate as well. I think we're ready to get back into it here in game number 3. So will he be able to translate it here? They have multiple times throughout this event, throughout this weekend. And we'll try to get back to it here and answer what the Storm were able to do in game 2.
And the Storm is brewing after that first game. They are attacking from the sky with lightning bolts charging through their cars in every goal they score. But the Mountaineers still climbing back after that game 2 loss.
Still getting back into it. Game number 3 underway. Trying to get the advantage here in this series. In West Virginia, you already know something's cooking off the kickoff. They've got it drawn up for every situation for that kickoff play.
And though Rocket League really has no plays, every West Virginia attack has looked coordinated so far. Every fake, every second, first, third shot, fourth shot even for some of these goals. They simply are so coordinated. Their experience as a team, even though they have Dawn, who's a freshman, is so incredible to see. But Harrisburg in a very similar boat as now Tool is going to try and maybe put an end to the Harrisburg confidence after game 2.
They were trying to attack this backboard, but the issue is Harrisburg's got it locked down. And now they take a shot. Freebie, shot taken. Somehow Don was able to make that read and get across.
It was an attempted pinch for, I believe, Polar and T-Carell, but it doesn't land. It goes off the wrong side, as that shot definitely wasn't wrongly put, as that's a massive clanger towards net, but an even massive, or a bigger save, as now the third shot comes through, but it's pushed wide.
And now T-Carell on it too, the 50-50. They shield it nicely there defensively, and Harrisburg tries to march out, but West Virginia stays on it completely. Another chance to play right back in the zone from Dawn. As T-Carell went ceiling side, trying to get some height. As they see some boost running out from West Virginia. They had to use all this boost at some point to keep the midfield presence there, but I guess not, because they still continue to have these mid packs that they pick up on a regular basis.
And now Tool just trying to get some time and maybe that 100 boost, but he doesn't find it. His teammate, though, will find a Harrisburg vehicle, as now that demo comes through. Daunt looking for a bump as well, but Next does a good job at getting that touch that he's required to make. Now Harrisburg looking for a counter, but West Virginia very quickly putting it back. That's another unfortunate clear from Harrisburg, as now the ball just sits in the middle. Corner read is in store, and that is found, but the net is not a part of it.
West Virginia wants to stick to their guns as far as trying to challenge this back wall, and it doesn't matter how they get it done. I just saw Don jump up to the back wall to try to bump Next off of it. I haven't seen that since maybe Arsenal of Space Station Gaming when he was back with them, but now West Virginia finding ways to break through, and although they get a couple of touches, it will be finished off by Harrisburg.
Harrisburg, 2 major saves, and now we finally have a game where we don't see a goal in the first minute. And for Harrisburg, maybe they don't like that, especially since they were the benefactors of that second game goal.
Don finding a couple of teammates. It was Tool and Angel that both double committed. A lot of space could be given up, and numbers back the other way. Harrisburg, T-Carell. Oh, another save from Angel.
It is a defensive masterclass. We already talked about it during the tech pause, and right now it is living up to the hype. Ball goes middle once again, and then T-Carell will rip it to the other backboard. It's going to be an awkward touch, but it's a great catch from who I believe is Daunt, now wall dashing his way into position. Angel looking for a pass, will find the ceiling instead, maybe going solo. Yes, he does, but it's not in the back of the net. Follow-up shot going backboard, but that will also be denied.
West Virginia just trying to get a goal through brute force alone, and listen, I'm for it because it seems to be inches away from working. Here's Angel back down, the dunk. It's out in the box, but T-Carell able to fight off that member of the offensive side from West Virginia yet again, and they'll be able to clear the zone, or are they? Finally, T-Carell on it, and a chance to breathe. He'll flick it high. Chance there from Polar will be denied by Angel.
You never, ever should see a ball just roll in front of the opposing team's half. You've got to capitalize, but West Virginia not thinking of that too much, as now Angel looks for a double, does find it, but makes his next teammate in an awkward spot, has to use a flip, but will get a bump regardless. Now Angel, double touch part 2, but the sequel isn't as good.
Don gonna be patient for this, let it come to him, because you're gonna have space here too. Tried the flip reset to get it under the member of defense, and it worked temporarily, but not all the way. Here's Harrisburg able to jump on it now. All the way back to the West Virginia zone. Touch that by Next. Now in transition. Don, back wall. It's going to fall down. Waterfall, and they knew it. What a read from Harrisburg. And Polar makes a huge defensive play.
And with a minute left, you can feel the urgency of these teams. That's a double commit from Harrisburg, and a demo on Polar means that there's nobody left back. T-Carell, the only man up. Next, the only man back, needs to get to this ball, but Polar's respawn is in time.
And Polar right on it, but so is Tool. He was keen to it. And Next beats 2 members of the defense, but of course, Don, cool, calm, collected. Defensive side, T-Carell directs it back in. Now a pass, Polar, shot taken. Oh, it's Harrisburg on top with just 29 seconds left.
I don't know if you can feel it, Bear, but it is ice cold here at the Hangout in Myrtle Beach. That's Polar finding the shot when his team calls on him most. 1-0 with 30 seconds left.
Name a better duo. You can't. T-Carell to Polar has been working all weekend long and continues to be exactly as effective in such a big moment. and the opportunity to put themselves up 2-1 in the series. But West Virginia's got this 19 seconds left. They need to push forward. They've been doing it all game long. Why not one more or two more opportunities here?
And that's Polar coming from the opposite side to bump the first man of West Virginia. But now Next misses. Now it's an awkward counter. 1v1. It's not going to be an instant shot. It's a pass, but it's going to be blocked by Polar. Last few seconds left. It's an awkward 50. Now Next needs to ground it. Yes, he will. Harrisburg gets 2 in a row.
Oh, man, the way that Harrisburg was able to play just as patiently as West Virginia and then be able to kill that ball, just as impressive as their defense was that entire game. West Virginia continued to just pester this defensive Harrisburg with shots, and they handled every single one of them. They had the back wall locked down. They had the crossing the box locked down as well. It just seemed like there was no way past that defense.
I mean, and it's very hard to find the holes, and so far we've only seen one perfectly placed shot, and it came from Harrisburg in game 2 to give them the lead. And so far, if they're the only ones who can find it, you start to worry if you're West Virginia. I still don't think we're in timeout territory, but something needs to change quick.
Again, yeah, we said it about Harrisburg after that game number 1, and they were able to adjust nicely, get a couple of wins on the board here, and now they'll march towards their 3rd win if they can get it done against West Virginia in game number 4. But right now, West Virginia, you can't be nervous. It's been close match after close match. Yeah, you wish the overtime went the other way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to worry about it here. Just a 2-1 difference. And
now we go to DFH Stadium, and we find ourselves in Game 4. West Virginia, you do not want to fall 3-1. $1,500 on the line, and it starts with Game 4.
Look for the crafty touches from West Virginia off the bat. They were able to not only gain possession, but the 100 boost there in the corner to amp things up. And of course, when you try the back wall, it's going to be locked down. Harrisburg has it just about every time. But Don here working the corner. He will work it past one, strong-armed it, but Next was wise to and able to get it out to the other side here. And now we'll try to cause chaos here on the back line of defense of West Virginia.
And once again, teams finally start to settle in. We haven't seen another early first-minute goal, but I might eat my words. Angel looks for a bump, but Next does a good job of defending. But now, Tool very quickly up, gets a flip. I believe he might not have actually gotten in, and he can't convert because of it.
Next left back, he's got plenty of boost in the tank, but he's got Angel to deal with, and that one almost worked his way in just by the bounce alone. Follow up there, the shot wide, another follow up, but that one's handled by Polar, and it goes back out to midfield. Tool directly back in, but the 50-50 all the way back out to midfield, and T. Carell, well, I thought he had the challenge, but able to work around it is Angel. Now T. Carell in support. He'll start pushing out as an opportunity to work it in on this defense of West Virginia, but now they're on the breakaway, but Next with the recovery speed to get it done.
West Virginia not seeing the open net soon enough, maybe taking a little too long on that counterattack where they could have had a golden opportunity here in the first couple minutes, as now we have already gone through the first minute 30 of this game and we are still dead even.
Don's trying to pull them out of position. It's not a bad move here, especially when they're camping back wall. Okay, come to me then, right? Then it's going to open things up for West Virginia. I do like that approach here. It's just, is Harrisburg going to fall for it? They're not known to do so.
And now T. Carell taking on 2 West Virginia players, but will not find it. Now Polar's last man back. Oh! Shot is under him. Angel drops another one in.
Yeah, another perfectly placed shot. Tool did the legwork here in the corner. And then that extra touch here in the demo on the far side as well was just enough to find a little bit of space. He said it's hard to find that little bit of space, in West Virginia able to do it.
And to find it in game 4 and to maybe finally sink into a rhythm is massive, as now 2 players trade demos in the midfield. It's a 2v2. Polar reads through it though. Now Next soft touch, but can't get the next one. Tool, sorry, trying to go to corner here, but he will be by the other T. That's T. Carell finding Polar.
Angel says no hesitations. We got to get up, and he was up in a hurry to get all the way up to the ceiling to try to shield Harrisburg from leaving their own zone. But T. Carell will be able to do just that, try to leave it for Next. Polar's getting bumped and bullied. Don tried to challenge back wall, but we know how that's gone for them thus far. Up for it already, a chance Next, gonna clear it all the way back. Don needs to get up. He's gonna at least force T. Carell to play ceiling shot taken, easily handled by Don.
And that's a great use of ceiling from Harrisburg, but then the follow-up shot is just simply rushed. There was nobody there for that pass, and the idea is great, but the execution is a completely different affair. But this time, the pass will connect. It's a 1 1, 2, but not the third.
Oh man, when you usually see those tic-tac-toe goals, especially when they're that quickly in development, you see it go in a lot. But West Virginia stayed put, stayed disciplined. What they're trying to accomplish in their rotations. But Polar will push forward. This off the back wall. Where's the defense? Oh, eventually it's back. But West Virginia, I mean, that was a dangerous play. It still is, as that one was directed towards target. But again, Angel comes up big.
But Polar's right back on. A ball goes corner off that 50-50, but Harrisburg still very much aggressive, trying to find a bite out of the West Virginia defense going off the corner. Nothing found yet, though. West Virginia still staying strong.
And Taunt will force Polar to go backwards with it. It works out for Harrisburg because Next was back there. And Ticarel now looking to settle off this side wall with a couple of touches. It draws one member of West Virginia out, but Polar couldn't quite reach that one. And Ticarel usually sets that up on a tee.
And Polar with a great fake, but your third man is not going to be up that far. It's just simply not a smart move. But now this time, it's two players going ahead out of their half, trying to find something, but now golden chance in the middle, and nobody from Harrisburg can save it. It hits off of one, finds the left side.
And Polar was rotating around to get that rotation. Did not expect that 50 to bounce out like it did off of Nex's car. And that's why he was backwards. Typically, he's all over that save. And that's why it looked like an easy one perhaps, but was not to be. In West Virginia looking strong here as far as trying to find this answer with 1:11 left.
And the mental difference in a 3-1 and a 2-2 is very drastic. So Harrisburg really going to be struggling for this one. Is now Polar. He will make the save this time, but now that's West Virginia third man, and Tool getting a great touch. Now Angel quickly up as well, just trying to dissolve some of the Harrisburg attack.
Love that communication from Angel to call over Don. He was running out of boost and was able to leave it for him to at least march forward past Harrisburg. I mean, the longer you linger in this zone, you're forcing Harrisburg to think about having to get a save. It allows the team to rotate around and get into position, which West Virginia's been doing really well, but that one's open. Ticarel gonna jump out with the side wall to try and get a challenge, try to get a shot, but it's handled by Tool yet again. He'll get as far as midfield and marches past Next, and finally some pressure relief, but with 20 seconds left, you can't rest.
And with 20 seconds left, that's a great job from Tool to make his way past two, but now Harrisburg has a chance for a counter. It's Polar up the Ticarel. Ball's gonna go to the side wall instead. That's Next over one, staring at an open net. It falls down, great save, third shot, gonna try and go to Ticarel, redirect to another, but it just rolls in front of the net, and that will be it. No matter if this ball finds the net or not, West Virginia will tie it up at 2 games apiece.
Absolute heart and an answer from either side in the biggest of moments. And West Virginia dug deep for that one. Harrisburg were on a mission there late. In West Virginia, I get it. It's a long shot even if Harrisburg scores there. But if you allow them to do that, they get a little bit of confidence back, and that's not something they wanted to allow. And guess what? Mission accomplished.
Yeah, 2-0 and a 2-1 may not sound too different, but not finding that goal can matter, as now we're at the point of the series where teams are tested mentally. You're in the dead center of a $3,000 game, and it cannot get bigger than this.
Oh man, since the get-go, we saw these two teams in the first match of this event, if you're just joining us, and guess what happened? It was one team wins, one team answers. And we've seen the same thing in this series, and there is no other option, at least in my mind, than to play to the very end of the series. Right now, it's a tough ask to say that either of these teams can get 2 wins in a row, but West Virginia's gonna be after that because they want to march to match point just as much as Harrisburg does.
And trying to find the path to march through has been the challenge in each game, going back and forth, and so far it has seemed to lean towards the team that gets that first goal, but now we are dead even. Only 4 more possible games remaining. It's still 2-2.
Bowler off the kickoff, off the rip. Usually it's West Virginia that gets started early. This time Harrisburg said, we'll take a trick out of your handbook, and they'll have the early 1-0 lead.
And, you know, we've been going at this for 2 days, but that might be our quickest goal of any streamed match, and maybe of the tournament. 4 seconds in for Harrisburg.
West Virginia, again, off these kickoffs, but it'll be Ticarel that gets to it first. He'll be challenged by West Virginia out. Harrisburg needed that quick answer, able to gather it. Now looking to build on it. They were shut out in the last game, so to get that first goal early, A little bit of that pressure off you. I know they say they don't feel a whole lot of pressure, but I'll guarantee you this, in this environment, I don't care how little you say you feel, it's still lingering to some degree at least.
Yeah, once people start hopping on tables, you start to feel that pressure. Is now T-Corral gonna miss one there, and Polar just trying to get out, trying to get off the wall, does get past one, but now that's Daunt very quickly up with a corner shot available to him, but next there first.
And Polar able to challenge that one too. Angel, perfect pop-up and setup, but he got a little bit above it now. Will be forced to just fall down and try to play that 50-50. Even though it fell into the hands of Daunt, he'll have to retreat after next with a good challenge as well.
Now, West Virginia feeling the pressure. That's still a great clear. Next, can he get there? Yes, no, he can't! I thought he had it for certain, but that's a huge miss. That gives West Virginia their first goal of the game.
It's such a tough read, but at this level, Next is definitely going to be a little bit upset with himself here. He will be the first one to admit that, hey, I should have had that one, guys. Listen, I will get it back for us. It's up to Next to make up for that minute mistake, and those little mistakes can go a long way in this series against you.
Well, Next put on the kickoff there, and now T-Corral trying to find Polar. All three players of Harrisburg getting involved instantly. You have to shake off and roll with the punches, as now a big punch comes out from West Virginia, bumping Next out of the way. Polar with a miss, T-Corral with a follow-up, but it's just going to be midfield battles.
Angel's looking for Tool. We've seen that combination so many times. Pro level, collegiate level, doesn't matter. But it did not connect in this instance. Next, will settle it back down, and although he does get the chip across, it's well high of the net, so no opportunity for Harrisburg to crash into the net, and West Virginia with the big clear.
And a massive clear at that, but they're not finding possession, but they're going to get it, give it to him. Next with an awkward touch, he can't follow, but it still ends up in Harrisburg possession. T-Corral going to leave it for a teammate, but it's not going to find the corner. Again, players starting to get more creative, but it takes just that extra edge, that extra touch, and again, the centimeters between you and a shot that ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, in that instance, Harrisburg had an idea. Look out. Oh, T-Corral tried to pre-jump that one. All right, T-Corral trying to match Nex's energy with a freestyle. At least it felt that way with how early he was up in that process, but they weren't able to connect in Harrisburg, now having to dig out from their own end.
And T-Corral gets a great play, taking it across his own half. That leads to a dunk, and there's only one player left for West Virginia after Daunt found a demo, but still, with that disadvantage, Harrisburg will not capitalize, but maybe they'll get a chance right here. That's a great touch. T-Corral almost dunks one, but it's just going to be another possession for him.
Yeah, Next getting real creative, diving deep into his playbook in order to try to chip that one to T-Corral, but now he's back up again. That'll draw two defenders of West Virginia. But when Polar tries to cross it back, the third member of West Virginia always ready. It doesn't matter if they double commit. But look out! Waterfall out in front. Next, another shot, but they couldn't take care of Angel back in net, so he's just able to dribble it out.
And Polar looks for a bump, but he had two players to choose from, and now he gets neither. Now Polar's last man back. That's a close redirect from West Virginia, and it's almost that last goal they were looking for, but now we still have 2 minutes left of Rocket League, and it's getting close. The margin's getting smaller, and West Virginia finally getting possession, and that bump on Polar won't do much. They're still on. Backboard, it's a dunk as well, but nobody's middle. Quick turn, a demo. Now once again, it is going to be off the backboard, wide open. Angel gets the second one for West Virginia.
That's sticking to a play here. Daunt jumped out with the demo, and Angel, instead of falling back for boost, had just enough in the tank to say, I'm carrying that all the way back into your ends, and a clean air dribble is all it takes. That's not a difficult play to make, but when you have some support, maybe that's all you have to do as Angel, and that's why West Virginia retakes this lead.
In a best of 7, a storybook that is so long. Normally, if you're trading games in the first 3, it's okay. But once you start to get to games 4 and 5, especially if you win 4 and 5 in a row like West Virginia might, then the momentum changes drastically. But Harrisburg not out just yet. That's Polar over 2, but then he bumps his own teammate.
Yeah, that last little bit does not discredit what Polar was able to do there. He's realizing that West Virginia is trying to take these risks, and with good reason too, they've been after it, and they've been able to fight them off. But that extra touch that we saw from Polar almost opened up the floodgates for Harrisburg, and I'd like to see more of that.
And there's absolutely no boost on the Harrisburg end, and it's why these shots keep happening for West Virginia, and now only 45 seconds left. If Harrisburg can't get out of their half, they have no hope, but West Virginia, they have an open net. It's relentless, but it won't go in. The dagger still not gonna land. They won't find it once again. Now next, it's an awkward 50. Dawn gets it middle, bumps one. Left side, 3-1 West Virginia.
All stars with the boost control here. You see Polar having to go for 100 boost instead of the ball in that moment. I get you're a little bit past it, but then TKRL bumped off of it at the last moment. Draw them out of position. West Virginia's been doing that since the last game. It has been effective, and they've got this demanding lead here with 30 seconds left.
We have watched Daunt be the aggressor almost all series, almost all weekend, and how about that? Maybe his biggest aggressive play, bumping TKRL out of the way. Now, flip reset for him, trying to find a little more magic, but Harrisburg trying to find some of their own. 10 seconds left, they need to find something, but next, that's a soft touch that won't lead to much. Now Angel looking for a fourth, it goes to the bottom corner, it's a good save, but now the clock will hit 0, and West Virginia move to match point.
Just an all-around great performance from this team. The recognition, the quick speed and pace in which they get in the face of Harrisburg. They know the mechanics that are across the pitch. They've seen them before, and the best teams take notes whenever you go up against a team and you actually drop that series. You got to come back stronger. So far, so good, but you also have to close out if you're West Virginia here.
And West Virginia, they are still locked in, but now look, their coach is trying to get them to relax.
Love it. Let's go.
They've done such a good job, and now, after winning Game 5, they have 2 games to spare, but obviously you want to go ahead and take it here in this 6-1.
No doubt about it. I mean, look at the vibes going around this West Virginia team. You can't lose focus, but you want to keep those positive vibes. Meanwhile, on the other side, you know Harrisburg is talking about this. There's no chance that they're out of this one. They know how easily they're able to flip games, and from my perspective, I see them jumping right back out here and giving them at least a run for their money. There's no way this is a blowout from West Virginia. We're about to see a close game here for this match point for West Virginia.
I mean, every game this series has been insanely close, has come down to the wire. We've seen goals in the last back half of the game almost every single time, and this game is absolutely no difference. But Harrisburg, a team that in Rocket League at least has had to recently try to write their own journey. West Virginia having a little bit of a head start, especially with the roster they've had for so long, but so far it's still fairly even, really.
It honestly is. It honestly is. I mean, when we talk about Harrisburg coming in and acquiring this new roster, going international, and there's something they're not afraid of. Harrisburg has always been an esports program that has just pushed the boundaries. How can we go farther as a program? They were one of the first programs around that really took it to the next level as a varsity program. But now West Virginia, a new varsity program themselves, and really making waves. The shot count from Angel, unreal. 21 shots.
Yeah, 5 for 21, but also tying the lead in saves in this entire series. So he's really doing it on both ends. He actually leads in every category other than assists.
That's absolutely unreal. One thing notable as well, the fact that Next still 0 goals. I don't know if you remember this, but in that series that we saw yesterday against the same West Virginia team, Next had 3 goals in the first game and then established even more. I believe he had 2 before that series was over after 5 games. To see him at 0 right now, very interesting to me. It seems like they're targeting him, and the more space you take away, as suffocating as you can play defensively, the better against a superstar with mechanics like that.
And now you find yourself no goals for Next, and with his back against the wall, and maybe his back against being thrown out into the boardwalk water here at the hangout here in Myrtle Beach. But I mean, an incredible venue, an incredible game, and I hope it delivers to 7, but as of right now, it's hard not to lean West Virginia.
I get it, yeah. You know, you go to match point and you say, you know, you have 2 chances to close out. You are going to eventually get there. But let's take a look at what we got here in the first place here before, you know, we saw a West Virginia hot start. It was so effective. They got out to a 3-0 lead, and you're like, okay, West Virginia might just run away with this finals. Surely that's not the case, but it definitely felt that way in the moment.
And this entire series, though, has been a highlight reel. You could summarize Boost on the Beach with this game alone for West Virginia. I mean, massive goal after massive goal. I mean, 5, obviously, extremely impressive. But then Harrisburg started to get their momentum back. They started to find their own opportunities, took some big games, and now they still find themselves down after all that.
And so, you know, Harrisburg did a good job to dig out, but West Virginia has an answer every time Harrisburg got back. So now it's up to Harrisburg. Their hand has been forced, and they will look to get back to it in this game number 6. It's do or die here for Harrisburg. This is not a situation that they've been in this event at all, and it comes down to this moment right now. Do or die, can they get it done?
Also, not a whole lot of Game 7s in this Harrisburg team's history. I mean, they did just go to 7 against Maryville in a show match, but that's not a $3,000 show match.
A lot more on the line here. Game number 6, 5 minutes on the clock. We begin, and yet again, Harrisburg, although they've marched forward, it was a West Virginia extent off the kickoff. Another play works for West Virginia. They're off to a 1-0 lead.
Well, it's not a 4-second goal, but one more will have to do here for West Virginia. A massive kickoff goal to keep the momentum going. Harrisburg will already have to fight off the back foot.
And how many times we've seen Harrisburg come back with an answer on the offensive side. They've been so keen to being able to do so. But yes, a great start from West Virginia as they tried to find T. Correll there, but it's shut down from Tool. That took a little bit of a higher bounce than maybe he was anticipating. And although T. Correll was able to launch a shot, it wasn't very much of a hassle for the defense of West Virginia, and they march it all the way down the pitch. Next, trying to kill some more time to get T. Crow to come around. He'll clear the zone, and Dot will just have to circle around this one, the play to the corner.
And again, plenty of Rocket League left to play. Harrisburg knows that. You don't have to rush anything, but now you kind of might have to as Tool finds a quick second goal.
Just catching him by surprise. It didn't look like anything crazy, but when you have room, you have the luxury to fake it. And then I guess T. Correll just lost track of where he was on the pitch. He was a little bit more centralized than maybe he thought, and that's how they were able to sneak around him to get the second goal.
We've seen incredible defensive game after incredible defensive game, but even at the highest level, everyone can't be consistent for 7 possible games. It is the ringer of Rocket League. It is the longest possible series you can play competitively, and Harrisburg's starting to feel the effects.
Next, trying to force it down the throats of the defense of West Virginia, but that hasn't worked traditionally, and it won't work again. But they'll tap it to one another. Thinking Next was going to go up for T. Correll a little bit late because of it, but Polar will just tap it down to Next. Oh, it's already on it. The read again. Oh, allow the freshman to pop off. West Virginia up 3-0.
We finally cross over the 4-minute mark. We hop into 3 minutes, and we have 3 goals. It is insanely quick from West Virginia to take this lead, and the momentum leaning heavily now.
Oh, wipe your brow, Harrisburg. You're sweating a little bit. You're going to need to get back here. When West Virginia gets cooking, look out. And of course, with this lead established, nothing is safe. Not a boost on the beach. You got to continue forward. And for Next, trying to jumpstart here for Harrisburg. But again, they're all over it. Where's the defense? West Virginia off and running again, 4-0.
It's a quick 4th goal, now scoring 4 unanswered, and Harrisburg can't find anything to retaliate with.
Oh man, West Virginia feeling it. Again, as many goals that are going on the board right now, you cannot call it, especially with all this time. But another kickoff, another goal. What is happening right now, TJ?
Well, Tool has a Tool box, and he's reaching in it to find his 2nd goal. 5 in a row here.
Not every kickoff play was drawn up from West Virginia, but that one certainly was, and they hadn't had to rely on their kickoff very often in this game, and that's the perfect time to sneak in another one as they are able to win this one back too. Though Don with the back wall here, T. Correll trying to carry it out. Harrisburg, you need a goal really quick to feel good. Instead, you get Tool with another double touch. It's a highlight reel here for West Virginia.
Tool getting magic out the hat for his hat trick.
Whoa.
That's 3 for 3. Flip reset. Bang! Down center to make it 6-0.
Oh my goodness, a play the likes of Parth like we saw in the semifinals of an RLCS event where it was off the bottom side of his car, able to adjust to it. It wasn't the triple flip where he said, but it was dang impressive. And now Angel trying to add to it as well. Harrisburg, the last thing you can do is calm down here, but it is what you need. So it's really devil's advocate here for Harrisburg. Just digging deep into their pocket. They got to get creative here, but I mean, at this point in time, nothing's working.
And the urgency is already high after you fall down to an opposing match point. And you know, maybe 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, okay, maybe we're fine, but 4, 5, 6, that's where you start to have problems.
Next challenge as well. Everything read by West Virginia. They're on it since the get-go. We talked about vulnerabilities from West Virginia when this bracket kicked off, and they have been erased as far back as the semifinals matchup that we saw them in. And now it has been just clinical the way they've been able to take this match point game by storm and continue to just put it on Harrisburg. And they haven't had any kind of answer yet. In fact, another double almost win for West Virginia, trying to add injury to insult.
Obviously, a 6-0 is already massive, but a 7, I mean, every extra goal you get just further lowers the chances of you losing this game. And West Virginia has so much time and room to just play defense. You're already up 6, there's 2 minutes left. But wait a minute, Harrisburg slowly trying to claw back, but 2 players go and nobody finds a shot.
Well, if you're here in the arena, I want you to look at West Virginia's face if you're able to walk over here, because they're still focused. It's 6-0, and they understand that weight. They understand the gravity that Harrisburg can very easily come back. They're not taking a victory lap, at least not yet, even though all signs point to West Virginia. Maybe another one. It is Angel, his 7th. The extra point is good.
7-0 in the grand finals, a pivotal game 6, and so far the wind is ripped out of the Harrisburg sails.
Unbelievable performance here in a game where you need to close out. Yeah, you said it's not going to be a blowout. Well, what do I know here? West Virginia said, oh, you sure about that? And here we are. Next, trying to find T-Corral here. They do get the bump here. It'll play high. But at this point, it feels like a technicality. Everything's been working for him. Another save shut down. West Virginia is everywhere.
And every second closer is an extra $1 added to the pockets of West Virginia, as they may find an 8th here. Players are awkward, and Polar will try and get literally anything going, as now with a minute left. It's technically not impossible, but it's feeling like Harrisburg may already be out of the fight.
You see them already up. Angel from the ceiling, from the sky. There he is. What a play again. Don set him up to perfection, and they're styling on him now.
It's in the name. Angel rising up above, and a shot that only you can make with talent gifted from God himself. Make it 8-0.
Unreal. In Harrisburg at this point in time, you had a good run. You had a great weekend. And now as you inch closer to it, you don't want it to end like this, and I understand. But West Virginia, you can't say enough about what they were able to accomplish against one of the best teams in this event. I mean, they just put their heart and soul into every game in this grand finals, and it showed.
And it is an unfortunate ending, as now we slowly are getting closer to the 0-second mark. Will there be a 9th? It's rolling in. Is anybody there? 2 players go. Both of them don't get a good enough clear. Tool goes 4 for 4.
And this is the first time I'm looking over and finally smiles on their face. I guess 9 was the number where they're like, all right, now we're comfortable here at this point with 25 seconds left. And West Virginia, with one last victory lap, they'll get to celebrate a bit here at the tail end of this one, as they just are able to celebrate quite a performance here at the finals.
And it is a statement when West Virginia came into this event, had a fairly rough first round against this Harrisburg roster, and Boost on the Beach has delivered chaos, including this series. But as the clock slowly reaches 0, you'll see West Virginia slowly reach into the cash purse, and they're going to be taking home $3,000 and the grand trophy and the title to be called your Boost on the Beach 24 champions.
Congratulations, West Virginia, for your victory here on Boost on the Beach 24. Well-earned victory. Their focus pays off, and they can finally relax and say, we've done it. We made the trip all the way from the north side, all the way down to South Carolina, and we will take the grand prize. What a performance it was.
And of course, teams of all skill levels have come to this event in hopes of just getting a sliver of that cash prize. But again, only one can walk out of here with the full $3,000, and what a performance to really speed out of here.
$500 a piece, aka $1,500, will go to Harrisburg University as well, so definitely not leaving empty-handed. In fact, if you smile on the faces of this Harrisburg squad whenever they get that last goal too, they're like, listen, it didn't go our way, but at the end of the day, we had a good time, number one, a great event overall, and they're able to live that. And even though, you know, second place, they're still feeling pretty good about what they were able to accomplish over this. They took everybody by surprise. I mean, a lot of people had them placed 4th in their power rankings.